Okay, a very good day to all our viewers joining from all over the world. My name is Zinat Islam and I'm the Relations Manager, Academia Network. As my colleague Shihab said, that times are tough as we are still in the midst of a pandemic, but we are tougher. We still strive to do our best in tackling social problems, environmental problems that we face. And it is you, the youth who have the power to do this. And who powers our youth? Our teachers, our academics, our professors. So this session is dedicated to hear their voices, to allow our esteemed panel of academics from 8 countries to speak on how young people can be socially responsible global citizens. Today's session is titled Insights for East Africa from the Social Business Academia Network, led by our moderator, Professor Mwangi Peter Wanderi, Principal Corporate Services and Overseer, Graduate Enterprise Academy, GEA, Mount Kenya University. We are joined by many other academics and experts who are a part or hopefully will be a part of our global initiative of YSBCs or Yunus Social Business Centers. YSBCs are dedicated hubs for social business at universities. We currently have 90 such institutions in over 33 countries and many more are in the pipeline. So without further delay, let us start our session, and I kindly request our moderator to start the session. And just because we are pressed for time, I would kindly request everyone to keep your speeches to 4 minutes strictly, and after which we will have some time for discussion. So after 4 minutes, if you cross, I will have to interrupt and ask for the next person to speak. So with that, please let us start. Professor Mwangi, please take the floor.
Thank you very much, Zinat. Dear Professor Yunus, dear excellencies, dear organizers, sponsors, presenters, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I bring warm greetings from Mount Kenya University, and I appreciate this forum, and I'm happy to be part of it. And I appreciate the presenters, and as we have been requested, we stick to our 3 to 4 minutes. And unfortunately, even what I'm doing in this introduction, it is counting. And therefore, since I'm the first presenter and a moderator, I think I have to show by example. So I started at 12:24 our time in Kenya, and I should be done in 3 minutes to give and set an example. So I talk about Graduate Enterprise Academy that I do overseeing at Mount Kenya University, which partners with industry and universities to transform the youth and to help them get a mindset change towards job and wealth creation. And as we work with the institutions, we have identified particular institutions that help us to link and develop the capacities of the beneficiaries. And I'll give one example of the University of Leuphana of Germany, which presented to us at Mount Kenya University with the students training for entrepreneurial promotion, or STEP. And in collaboration with the Leuphana University, therefore, we have been training the beneficiaries of our Graduate Enterprise Academy through STEP. In this way, they have been able not only to empower themselves, but they have also been able to extend their skills to others. And this is the climax of my presentation, although I not go further, that we find them out in the villages helping other young people. And this has been very good to us. And also it is an accelerator. So we bring them on board when they have something to show us about. And we have engagements, as I said, with industry. And for more information, kindly listeners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, visit Graduate Enterprise Academy at Mount Kenya University online. You find all the information. This is a pitch, and I think to all of us who are presenting is a test for our capacity to do an accelerator pitch. I submit, and with that, I move on to the next presenter. Over to you, Zinat. The next presenter is Professor Chiang Shen.
Yes.
Over to you, Professor Chiang Shen. Is he on
Professor
board?
Yunus? Yes, I'm on board. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, can you hear me? Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Professor Yunus and all my friends in Social Business Network. My pleasure to share my experience here in Taiwan because I think we established YSBC in 2014. So far, I think we not only focus on in-campus education, but also help local city government to build up the social business ecosystem. So I think very important, not just teach a student in campus, but also bring student outside. So so in school, we provide MOOC, MOOC. We also have a social business credit program. We also have social business project. So this such project have to be incorporated with because the Ministry of Taiwan, Ministry of Education in Taiwan. So starting from 3 years ago, they have a program so-called University Social Responsibility Program. So integrated our training into so-called USR program. So students have to go outside, just not only have to they have to do field study, they also have to use their know-how to help local social enterprise to solve their problem. So in the same time, we provide design thinking training. We also provide impact management training to tell our students how to become a social entrepreneur and based on social business model. So very important, students have to understand the problem, understand local problem, and have experience about becoming a social entrepreneur. So we integrated with USR program, and not only that, we also, of course, we cooperate with local government because university located in local city. So we also help Taoyuan city government, to build a social business city. So for the past 4 years, we helped them to run mentor program and also help them to run so-called social Taoyuan social business competition. So student or young generation, they can propose a social business idea. So for the past 4 years, we mentor over 80 teams. And so far, 20 of them already start become a company. Many of them follow Professor Yunus' social business model. So I think it's very good. We not only provide training, but also help the student, especially young generation, to know what is social business, what is how to become a social entrepreneur. So that's what I think is very important. Somehow our school program have to think about how to motivate students, how to motivate young generation, why need to do that, and they also provide the knowledge, especially I think for the recent years, impact management, impact investment is very important. Social entrepreneur, they not only to make profit, but also to make value. So we also help them to provide such kind of knowledge, how to maximize their impact through social business model. So I think that's about 4 minutes, right? So
thank you, thank you,
okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We move on to Dr. Douglas Muzvengi. Douglas in the house. Looks like he may not be there. Zenat, you could help me also establish who is there and who is there not there, so that as we skip, we can come back to them.
Sure, yes.
This allows me, he is there.
Dr. Douglas is here. Just
fine, yes. Welcome, welcome.
Excuse, I'm around, sir.
Yes, Douglas, Dr. Douglas, we can hear you.
You can hear me. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good day once again. Professor Yunus said that poverty in the world is an artificial creation. It does not belong to human civilization. And we can change that. Professor Zinyemba, at some graduation ceremony sometime in 2017, he said that there's nothing as powerful as an idea whose hour has come. The Caledonian University And indeed, Africa is indeed our time. I will go at breakneck speed. Since the adoption of and conceptualization of social business and entrepreneurship philosophy in the programs of the Catholic University, the university has established an MBA program in entrepreneurship, and it has been involved in research, teaching, community service, innovation, and industrialization. The university has been involved in with local urban authorities to solve their problems and improve their efficiencies through research, innovation, and industrial innovation. Corporate and industrial learning for students has been established for their exposure, and rural community social impact programs have been implemented. What issues are there going forward? Going forward, the university is seeking to establish a pool of a research fund, a pool of financial resources to finance social business and entrepreneurship graduates and community entrepreneurs. The encouragement of social business for plowback of their contributions in the fund. And the university as well is looking at half-year and year-end project presentations and competitions and adjudication for financial support of the prizes. Social business and entrepreneurial programs for nurturing students, alumni, the community and social entrepreneurs and social businesses have the potential for the development into medium and large corporations. The collaboration with Yunus Centre and other regional and global Yunus Social Business Centers. The university and the Yunus Business Center is all looking at engaging the disadvantaged and the marginalized in the rural communities. Going forward, looking at the bigger picture, what are the emerging social business worldviews from an African context? Africa confronts, as Dr. Martin Luther said, a fierce urgency of now, and we do not have more time to waste. Africa is the richest continent in the world in terms of human capital and natural resources, but it is the poorest in terms of per capita income, per capita food, per capita clean drinking water, per capita health, and per capita housing, and so on. Africa's population at 1.4 billion, of which 60% is under the age of 25. That is more than the entire population of Europe at 748 million. The ADB Bank tells us that in 2015, 12 million youths entered the job market and competing for 3.1 million jobs that were created, meaning that 8.9 million joined the unemployed. The trend has been accumulating and worsening every year to date. The COVID-19 pandemic has further worsened this situation. These statistics are alarming and inform us of a dire situation that needs prompt action. The situation is either because the education systems need to be revisited to incorporate job creation mechanisms, or there is no adequate investment in job creation, or there is widening mismatch between education and productivity, and so on. What immediately comes to mind with these observations is the tertiary, thank you, the tertiary institutions, they need to refocus on African challenges. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Douglas. And sorry I had to interrupt. So we invite the next presenter, Dr. Carlos Alberto Rastopo. Welcome, Dr. Carlos.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, it is my pleasure to be here with all of these very prestigious colleagues and Professor Yunus. And of course, on behalf of the School of Management, at Universidad Externado de Colombia and my research team. It is a pleasure for me to share with you all of these experiences in our joint research initiative. Colombia is approximately a country with 48 million people with access to Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean, but it also makes it a country with great natural resources, but that creates propensity to suffer conflicts and violence originated in the struggle for these resources between national and international actors. That is why this research initiative that we have undertaken together with Yunus Social Business Center and Professor Jahangir Alam is very important for us. This initiative includes three main projects. The first has to do with a case study about the way in which social businesses have contributed to the consolidation of peace in Colombia. As most of you may know, a few years ago, our country signed a peace agreement with the oldest armed group in America, which fought against the Colombian government for more than 50 years, mainly affecting the most vulnerable populations in the rural areas of the country, causing poverty and millions of displaced people. However, today's those former members of the organization have entered civil life and have created social businesses, thereby generating decent ways of life and contributing to the construction of a new country. Our project seeks to present and analyze this experience in depth. The second project analyzes how microcredit have contributed to the social development of the country and the region. Microcredit institutions in these projects have been involved, but also business associations and government agencies that regulate the sector in the country. The third project seeks to contribute to the literature in social businesses through a proposal of new metrics to evaluate the performance of social businesses, which goes beyond the traditional economic approach and allows us to have a more holistic view of the phenomenon. There is no doubt that this collaborative initiative has allowed us to strengthen our research capabilities through interaction with researchers from other countries, access to new theoretical discussions in the field of social business, and the construction, of course, of new methodologies capacities. So for us, it's a really relevant project, and we are very proud to be part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is indeed a good performance. You are on time. Actually, you've given us 1 minute to spend, and I need to use that minute to inform the audience that we can receive some feedback or some comments or some questions through the chat, and we'll pick a few of them if time allows. The way we are going, we might have a few minutes to look through one or two. So the next presenter, thank you very much, Dr. Carlos. The next presenter is Daniel.
Pressure, thank you.
Norwalk. Daniel, over to you. Thank you, welcome.
Thank you so much, and good to hear from everybody.
Daniel.
My name is Daniel. I'm Managing Director at Yunus Social Business. We implement, support, and finance social businesses all around the world, and also are lucky enough to have teams and a presence in Kenya and Uganda. So East Africa is very dear to our heart. I think one thing that is clear is that East Africa doesn't need to hear from people like me what it needs and what it doesn't need. So I'll talk more about our work and research when it comes to the idea of social business globally and the idea of social business to transform our economy. We've done research with leading organizations and universities like INSEAD and HEC about this power of social business, specifically as it reshapes our economy and reshapes also how companies think about creating value and business around the world. We think there's two main ways that this can happen. And one thing is surely the conversation we've had earlier, the power of youth to change mindsets, to think differently about our future. The social consciousness that Professor Yunus was talking about. So that is something that is really dear to our heart. And that's why we do create social businesses as an experience to really experience how business can have an impact and create solutions for social and environmental problems. And I think this is an amazing journey that we've gotten ourselves onto, but it's also a very long-term journey. And there's very, very many people around the world that still don't understand that power of social business. So for them, we need to build bridges that allows them to get into this space and to understand what it can actually mean to create social businesses. So that means we have to look at the vocabulary to bridge that gap. And that's where we are excited to work also on topics like Carlos Alberto was mentioning, like new metrics. How do we understand value creation? How do companies create value beyond the financial returns, really for society and the planet? So how do we measure that performance? But also, how do we then transform companies to actual social business ultimately? How do we really make that journey happen? And what's the role of the financial markets in that? Is, for example, a public company ever going to be able to transform itself into a social business, or is it always going to be constructed in a way that it only serves its shareholders? So those questions really, really are at our heart and at our research. We see amazing progress in making this happen because we see actual social business entrepreneurs working within companies to turn them upside down and show them to use their resources to actually create value. And that's something super exciting for us in the future. We see, to close, three main things for the future that we would love to see from research. One is on the accountability frameworks. How do we keep all of the companies and global leaders accountable to all the nice pledges we've heard last year? So how do we now turn that into action? How do we inform also policy and regulatory changes to support social business, but also value creation beyond financial value? And how do we initiate a change in leadership and culture when we think about business, when we think about corporate leadership? And I think in these three areas, really, research has a role to play to inform everybody how this path can look and what's the most efficient way to take this forward. And to all the youth out there, we really call out to you to challenge us, to continue to challenge the older generation and challenge us to be more crazy and think about a totally different future. Be unreasonable, don't have all the answers. That's where we can help. But think in new ways. The Friday for Future movement has shown us that this can really create the power to inspire action, and that's what we need. So thanks to everybody, and glad to be on.
Thank you very much. That is also a good performance, Daniel. Thank you very much. Now we invite Juliette Vivry. Juliette.
Yes, hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Juliette Fèvre. So I am absolutely delighted to have the opportunity to talk to you today. I'm currently studying journalism in London as I'm working remotely for the chair ETI of IAE, Paris Sorbonne Business School. So today I'm sharing with you the very close releasing of a book I've been writing for the past year, a year of pandemic actually, for the chair ETI. The ambition of this book is to cross the borders to take a picture of worldwide projects, companies and actors that are involved in the social business. So the book will contain 9 chapters. Each chapter sheds light on one field or one topic: sport, environment, health, culture. And each topic is analyzed through 3 things: a summary note, an interview of a leading person in the field, and 3 practical initiatives companies giving a field application example. Even if it's not central, the sanitary crisis obviously underpins the diverse chapters, proving the efficiency of social business in times of disruption. And I could notice how much agile were the companies when it comes to times of crisis. I tried to keep a human approach. This book is full of different faces, and I was willing to have a very technical approach about how things are actually going on the ground. I would like to take this opportunity to highlight the role of women. Professor Yunus introduced this session while talking about going back to Africa, and One of my interviewee was explaining to me how women tend to, when they acquire some skills somewhere, they tend to go back in their country or in their home country to improve the situation there and to improve the background of young people growing up where they grew up. And I think it's a really interesting thing to see how social business gives the opportunity to women to express their creativity, to reach their potential, and to give them the strength. As you should know, the very first recipients of the Grameen Bank were women, and actually I think almost 97% of the women, the recipients are actually women today. Whether it is in Africa or somewhere anywhere else, the difficulties women accumulate are quite heavy: children, marginalization, lack of resources, and facing political instability or times of pandemic. They keep going, and they show a strong resilience. I was very inspired a few days ago by a Somalian company run by a woman, which is called Some Fresh Fruits. And it's actually interesting how she spent 20 years in the United States and came back at 36 years old in her homeland to improve this stream there. So I'm really interested to have more feedbacks from how things are going underground. So feel free to contact me, and I will be very interested to know more about Africa as well. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Juliet. Also, you have spared 1.5 minutes for our interactions. Thank you, and we shall also follow up with your book. It's a lovely idea. So the next presenter is Professor Yunus Organizations. Welcome, Professor.
Merci beaucoup. Merci au professeur Yunus et aux participants. Éloge Ogouale du Bénin, l'Université.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Professor Yunus. I'm Éloge Ogouale from University of Calavi.
Depuis 7 ans, l'université a mis en place le Centre pour le volontariat et l'entrepreneuriat.
7 years ago, we have created the Center for Social Entrepreneurship and Research.
L'objectif est de faire des universités un laboratoire de l'entrepreneuriat social.
We'd like to make the university a laboratory of social entrepreneurship.
Et contribuer au renforcement des capacités des diplômés en les accompagnant à mettre en valeur leur potentiel scientifique et social à partir de l'université pour après l'université.
Contributing to strengthening the professional and practical skill of students based on those entrepreneurship-related skills, for them to be able to use that before and after university.
Nous renforçons leurs capacités en valeurs cardinales et sociales, en entrepreneuriat, en leadership et en développement communautaire.
We strengthen the capacity in cardinal values, social entrepreneurship and leadership.
Depuis 7 ans, nous avons intégré l'entrepreneuriat social dans les curricula de formation professionnelle, orienté création de restauration, coiffure, couture, tout ce qui est pratique.
Since 7 years ago, we've been implementing this capacity building training in the whole curricula of the university by supporting young students for social entrepreneurship.
En coiffure, en restauration.
In catering, hairdressing and sewing, for example.
Nous organisons une journée d'innovation pour primer les porteurs de meilleures idées en entrepreneuriat social chaque année.
We organize an innovation day to award the best idea in social entrepreneurship every year.
Et nous signons des partenariats avec des organisations locales et internationales comme ce qui est en cours avec Yunus Centre.
We are building also partnership with other organizations with similar vision. For example, the one we are now building with Yunus Social Entrepreneurship Center.
Depuis 2013, nous avons transformé 20 000 étudiants en entrepreneurs sociaux.
Since 2013, we had given training to 20,000 students in social entrepreneurship.
il y a 1200 volontaires, c'est-à-dire des gens qui ont la licence, qui ont été transformés en citoyens et en même temps 58% en entrepreneurs sociaux.
1,200 students, meaning those who have at least bachelor, have been transformed into new type of citizens, and 58% of them as a social entrepreneur.
300 unités entrepreneuriales ont été créées et mises en place dans 18 communes du Bénin au cours des 2 dernières années.
300 social entrepreneurial units have been initiated and set up in 18 municipalities in Benin these past 2 years.
L'année passée, les étudiants sociaux ont mis en place 500 plans dans le cadre des journées de l'arbre.
For example, last year, students in social entrepreneurship have planted 500 plants, like trees during the national tree days.
Voilà donc ce que nous faisons, et je sais que notre partenariat avec le Centre Yunus, ça va nous aider encore à accélérer ces activités-là dans tout le pays et en Afrique de l'Ouest surtout.
Yeah, this is something we have been doing, and we hope that our collaboration with Yunus Centre will help us to impact more people in our country.
Merci.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are really impressed because there was a discussion that because of the translation and the time spent in that, we could have extended a little bit, but he has done very well. He has even spared some more time. So thank you very much, Professor Ogwale and the translator. So from there, we move on to Dr. Ambrose Jagongo, who is my personal friend, worked with him in my former station. Professor Jagongo, Dr. Ambrose Jagongo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Mwangi Wandere. My name, as Professor said, is Dr. Ambrose Jagongo, an expert in entrepreneurship finance at Kenyatta University. I want to mention that related to this Kenyatta University, we have a business incubation and innovation center. And we also have the Young African Leaders Initiative that was launched by the former president of the United States, Professor Obama. But related now back to the topic, the big potential in small-scale business for the youth in East Africa, we find that the youth population in East Africa is high. In Kenya, 25% of the population, Tanzania 34, Uganda 22.5, Rwanda 29. And there is high number of graduates released to the job markets. Kenya releases about 50 and Uganda releases about 30,000 every year. The problem, therefore, that we find is that there is high unemployment and underemployment, where the underemployment rate ranges between 6.5 to 23%. Therefore, what are the opportunities in the small-scale business for the youth? Number one, there should be a paradigm shift of the mindset from white to blue and gold collar jobs by the youth and the society at large. There should be development of the youth to the job creation, to be job creation tools rather than tools for jobs, so that there can be a shift from seeking employment to being employers. Seizer of opportunities through innovation, risk-taking, and diversification for maximum returns. Another opportunity should be to capitalize on strong academic background for innovation to raise level of blue and gold collar jobs for social and environmental impact. For example, how do the youth apply chemistry to convert waste in dump sites into money? There should also be enhancement of the use of technology in various nodes of commodity chain for wider coverage of suppliers and consumers at low cost. and establish interdisciplinary collaborations based on the SWOT concept to enhance synergy for sustainable SMEs. Additionally, there should be building resilience in business for the youth to appreciate starting small and growing with time through early morning realization that they should be change agents and status quo disruptors. Also, there should be the avoiding of investing in dead assets, where dead assets are those assets with no income generating potential. For example, acquiring land in less growth potential areas or investing in residential houses in the village when they are actually paying rent in the city. This may call for prudent conduct of personal asset rationalization and auditing. To be able to achieve this, there should be enabling environments. Number one, challenge the misconception and stigma by society and the youth that learned people should not do particular types of jobs. There should be early introduction of entrepreneurship skills, talent search, and opportunities in the curriculum. The government should provide regulatory support and investment funds like the WESO Fund, the Youth Fund, and the Women Enterprise Fund in Kenya, and youth development policies in Tanzania. Create markets for SME products with regulatory framework for standardization, equip youth with knowledge and skills to promote value addition, increase accessibility to credit for financial self-sufficiency, provide strong technical support system for M&E. And the big question, Professor, is enough being done to create enabling environment for youth networks and enterprise development? What needs to be done differently to enhance vibrance in SME by the youth? Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you. That was a good presentation, and members will be able, friends will be able to follow up on these presentations, and I'm sure the presentation shall be shared so that we can continue with the dialogue that we have already started. So moving on, thank you very much, Dr. Jagongo. We move on to Dr. Perez Onono. Dr. Perez Onono, is she on board?
Yes, I'm here, Prof.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, our longtime colleague. It's nice to see you moderating this session. And I think Yunus has brought us together again. Thank you so much, Professor Yunus. And I want to take this opportunity to make a small talk on the scope of social business in academia for the region and how academia can shape young people to be socially responsible citizens. I want to start by saying and appreciating the context in institutions of higher learning, where young people spend most of their formative years. And during that period, they acquire knowledge, skills, values, and morals that enable them to integrate well into their societies. This happens through the academic programs, which build the needed professional capacities for success in various occupations. But academic institutions, and especially at KU, we also play a critical role in promoting continuing education by running customized capacity development programs directed to community leaders, and also running short courses to bridge gaps in knowledge and skills for practitioners. The general relationship between academia and students provide a lot of potential opportunities for promoting the concept of social business and also mentoring them to be socially responsible citizens. Mainly, these relationships revolve around delivery of the curriculum, where there is mainly the teaching and learning, research and knowledge dissemination. But while pursuing the academic training, our students, who are generally a good majority of them are young people, they are also engaged in many other activities as they grow up. These include sports and other club activities through which they engage in a number of community outreach activities. Our students also participate in national, regional, and global competitions, usually organized by global institutions along various themes. And in all these activities, academia play a critical role of being mentors and patrons. Given this context, there are enormous opportunities that I see available in academia and academic institutions to promote the concept of social business and to facilitate implementation of the concept as a potential means towards addressing some critical problems facing our societies, including the rising youth unemployment, persisting poverty, rising inequalities, environmental degradation, and climate change challenges, among others, while also exploiting opportunities to shape young people to be socially responsible citizens. Such opportunities lie in the following. One is building capacity of academic staff and nominees from interest groups on social business through training of trainers, workshops, and seminars. Given that we are seeing the concept of social business being in this season being promoted in the East African region, one of the opportunities that are available is to build a pool of a knowledge base on this concept and enabling a large group to have a clear understanding of what it is, how it is implemented, how it can be designed so that it can influence our thinking across our business enterprises. The second thing is mainstreaming the concept of social business in existing university academic programs. Content on social business can be developed and offered as a common or core course in identified programs. I have been in academic administration for some time. In this university, I've been a head of department, and I am currently the dean of a school, the School of Economics at KU. And one of the critical things we do is to develop curriculum. We develop curriculum for new programs. We also undertake revisions of our curriculum from time to time. It is possible that when a concept is appreciated and its potential role also clearly appreciated, it is possible for this to be mainstreamed in existing university academic program. So that content can be developed and offered as core courses in certain identified programs or offered as a common university course to reach to as many young people as possible. There is also the opportunity in research where academic research on the potential and growth of social business in the region can be undertaken as a means of, and also short courses can be conducted, workshops and forums. We can also hold social business competitions to catalyze identification of opportunities for social businesses. We can also engage the youth in dialogue forums to discuss issues on social responsibility and responsibility towards their nation and regional prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you. We appreciate your presentation, Dr. Perez. We now move ahead and invite Professor Jahagil to make his presentation. Thank you. Prof, on board. As he comes, we remind audience to put their questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, welcome, Prof.
Thank you, Professor, for allowing me to deliver my speech. Honorable Professor Muhammad Yunus, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and assalamu alaikum. This is indeed a great opportunity for me to be part of this great distinguished panel. We have got participation from 4 continents, and basically we have arranged this session to share our experiences, like, to know experiences of Professor Mark Shen, who has a very successful YSBC, and also to learn experiences from our ongoing research project in Colombia with University of Externado, basically, you see, this is the session where we would like to discuss how our future wise business can operate in Africa, knowing from Professor Makshen, as well as how can we do our research projects, future research project in Africa, following the experiences from our joint research project that we are currently conducting with University of Exeter in Colombia. Basically, Professor Carlos has mentioned that we have attention about 3 research projects. Basically, we have one more, 4 research projects. He briefly mentioned or discussed about 3 research projects. The 4th one that he has mentioned is that in this research project, we are going to look at what are the impacts of access to microfinance on entrepreneurship. We'll look at women's entrepreneurship. We'll also look at youth entrepreneurship. So this is what the 4th research project is. Basically, this forum, particularly this panel is helping us to understand how can we share our experiences and how can we help our partners in Africa to establish wise bases in their countries at their academic institutions. And the research project that we are planning to conduct in Africa, how can we do it, and what are the research projects we could think about? This is what we can share. So thank you very much for sharing your experiences with us, and I'm sure that we'll be able to use this the discussion that we have today in our future activities, and that we'll be conducting in Africa. And the partners that we have today in this panel from African countries, I welcome on behalf of Yunus Centre to all of you on board regarding our future research projects. And we'd like to have your opinion as well as your proposals that what we could do in Africa, and how can we help your universities or academic institutions in Africa with respect to capacity building, through providing training programs as well as through initiating research projects, or training up, giving training to your younger colleagues on doing research projects and writing good research proposals, as well as writing good papers for publishing in good quality journals. So, and rather, on top of doing the research project as well as rendering training programs, we have also planned to write joint research proposals to submit to distinguished grant giving agencies like IDRC or DFID, organization like this, to attract funding for doing research projects, as well as doing the capacity building of the institution in Africa. Hopefully, we'll be able to do these things in the future days. And thank you very much, all of you again, for sharing your experiences. And hopefully, we'll be able to do things to fulfill your expectations. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak today, and hopefully we'll be able to see you again in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. And to everyone, in a modified or an updated document that I received yesterday, there was an indication Professor Waswa Falunywa of Makerere University Business School was to be on board. Kindly, I need to be informed if Professor is on board. We could invite him.
Join. So he's unfortunately unable to join.
Come again? Or he's not able. Okay.
Unable to join. So we can directly go to the questions if you want to take from the chat box to the speakers here, if you want to take some of the questions from the audience.
In the chat box, I would request Zenat to check for me if there is any question as I pick 1 or 2 questions from the audience, if there is any. Yes, even the panelists could pick up 1 or 2 things. But as a moderator, I think I have an obligation to pick a few points that have been mentioned. And this was very enriching presentation. We appreciate all the presenters. And we have heard that we have diverse, in Africa, we have diverse opportunities to support social entrepreneurship or social business. And universities are laboratories of social entrepreneurship. And there are diverse methodologies, as we have heard, methodological approaches to social entrepreneurship in Africa. We have seen Juliet's textbook. We have heard of training. We have heard of incubators and accelerators, and the list is endless. And there's a diverse impact of COVID adverse. There is an adverse impact of COVID-19 to our African-based social businesses. And this therefore calls for the need to engage in partnerships such as YSBCS engagement, which is a timely endeavor. That is a small summary. And at this point, if any person has a hand up, would be happy to welcome the person. Or any question, I don't see any question on the chat, but Zinette, you can help me if there is one. Or even a comment, if there is a comment.
There is a question actually in
yes.
the Q&A. Someone has asked whether we'll be able to organize a similar master's program that we are currently planning to start at Asian Institute of Technology, whether we'll be able to do the same thing in other countries or not. Yeah, of course, we have a plan to do in other countries if the partner organizations in other countries come forward. We would love to have a similar master's program in other countries as well.
Thank you. Additional comments? Yes,
tomorrow we will have a speaker, Dr. Faisha, who will be talking about the Yunus Social Business Masters, which is being offered at Asian Institute of Technology. We will have a speaker on that tomorrow. And about the question, yes, there are quite a few questions, and one of them is, what could be some metrics to measure and manage social business value?
Come again?
The question.
Okay. I would like to take this question. Basically, you see, this is one of the challenges that we have in social business. We cannot use the metrics or the indicators or the variables that we have to measure a business or variables to measure social businesses. And that's why we are working on a project in a research project in Colombia. We are trying to identify which variables are going to be suitable for social businesses. And this is ongoing, is going on, this research project. So hopefully end of this year, we'll be able to publish that paper, and we'll be able to share that paper with you to help you to understand what are the indicators and variables are going to be suitable for measuring performance of social businesses.
Thank you. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, yes,
I also had
maybe
something.
because, yes, keep it short, because we would want now to invite Professor Yunus after this to give a few remarks. Yes, Dr. Jagongo.
A very short question. I listened, but maybe another area we may need to look at is the role of family business succession in the youth social entrepreneurship. That probably may need to be picked up as a research area in our institutions.
Thank you very much. Zinat has taken note so that it comes out in the communique. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and your dedicated input. Allow me at this point to invite Professor Yunus and also make a personal comment that today is a great day for many of us, including myself, that we are sharing an opportunity, a platform with a very, very, very popular and the person who has made a lot of change to people's lives, and we're sharing a platform with him. Professor Yunus, welcome. Kindly give your few comments. Thereafter, Zinat will take over and show us the direction. Thank you, everyone. Professor Yunus, most welcome.
Sir, you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First, I wanted to thank you as a moderator. You did an excellent job as a moderator. And the participation was fantastic. I was very, very delighted by the quality of the discussion and the interest in the subject and so on. So it's a good discussion, and I would like to see that how to continue this dialogue so that the research on this subject can continue to flourish, get connected with each other, so we can provide a platform. And Professor Jahangir Alam Chaudhary has been committed to this work to connect with you, so that all the research projects can learn from each other, and joint research projects can be initiated, and how to find some funding for such projects if possible in future. So these are the kind of thing that the fact that you are taking interest in the subject is a first very important contribution to the whole idea. And as I was saying, that we should be thinking about leadership coming from Africa, with all the young people there and all the massive number of job creation that people are talking about. And at the same time, I'm saying this not about job creation, is facilitating the entrepreneurship to come out of these young people. So it's not somebody who's waiting for to get a job someplace else, rather than they can be a job creator themselves. So this is the direction how to make it happen. What are the experiences that we have in the world? How to bring it to each our campuses, each our initiative, and document them and influence the policymakers, and how the financial system can be redesigned so that that can be possible. Because that's very important thing. The financial system has to work with them. In isolation, entrepreneurship cannot grow. Entrepreneurship needs oxygen, and that oxygen comes from financial system. So we have to build an alternative financial system if the current financial system is not supporting that. So we have to come with the alternative financial system too. So these are the issues that we have to continue and see how this can be done. It's a good start, and I want to thank all the participants for participating in this discussion, and let's continue this dialogue. Thank you very much again. Zeenat.
Thank you, Professor Yunus. This has been a great conversation. Firstly, I would want to thank everyone for maintaining time. It has been really incredible. The first of one session, I think we have made it on time. Thank you very much to our moderator for conducting this session so flawlessly. And as Professor Yunus says, this is just our start, and we will continue to have many more of these conversations. Today, we have had around 10 academics in this session. Tomorrow, we will also have 10 more academics in another session on capacity building. So we're just starting to know each other, and we will take it off from here, have more YSBCs, Yunus Social Business Centers in the Africa region, and even globally connect with each other, do more collaborative efforts, workshops, competition, and we look forward to such initiatives in the future. I just also wanted to add that in the chat box, you will see links for 2 of our reports, the Social Business Academia report, done in collaboration with the YYF Foundation and Yunus Centre, and the Social Business Academia Conference, which happened in November in collaboration with Universidad Externado. So these are very useful reports that I think will be beneficial if you just read through. And again, we all together can do many more events. Another event is our YSBC lecture series that we have every month. There are 2 lectures every month that I welcome all of you to join. These are very interesting sessions with social business entrepreneurs talking about their business initiatives, their challenges and experiences. And all this information will be available on our social media pages and the Social Businesspedia. So thank you very, very much. I really, really appreciate giving your time, your knowledge, your energy, and we look forward to having you again. And with that, I would like to conclude this session. All the speakers in this session, please, you may wish to continue watching this event, but you will be shifted to the audience section, and the new panelists will come up. So there may be a slight disconnection in a little bit of time. So thank you very much again. And I now request our co-MC, Robert Okoko, to please come up and take the floor from here. So thank you very much, everyone. Please continue watching our event, and we will see each other again very soon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Yunus.
Thank you,
everybody. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeenat.
Thank you very much.